Okay, welcome you guys. Good to see you again. I think I'm gonna start going live like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I really like answering your questions. The live stream on Monday was so good. I loved answering your questions. I love chatting with you guys. So I'm gonna make it a more regular thing, maybe at different times, depending on if it's Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. But yes, let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to answer some more questions that I got via DMs or comments. Um, actually, I want to add one about, and I'll actually start with this one so I don't forget, um, about the whole like victim blaming thing. Because I feel like every time I make a post about like, hey, here's what, if you're in a toxic relationship or if this happened and here's a pattern that you have that you don't like that you want to change. That's why people come to me in my private practice or my courses or watch my videos. It's like, here's a problem and I want to solve it. Now, especially if it's a long standing pattern that you've had, and this could be around food. Like when I first started my private practice, I dealt with like compulsive behavior. So food, it's like, I am so sick of this pattern. I'm sick of attracting this type of relationship. I'm sick of having this relationship with food or money and like, so the trajectory is that one, having awareness and having the willingness, right? You have the awareness that like, I don't like this pattern anymore. I don't want it to change. And then the second thing is the willingness to want things to be different and to maybe understand that you'll have to do something that you haven't thought of, or look at things, look at your shadows, look at maybe aspects of yourself that you didn't know they were subconscious or unconscious, or that you haven't been wanting to deal with, that could be really uncomfortable. It's a big reason a lot of people and narcissists don't go to therapy. It's because they don't want to look at part of themselves. It's too threatening to them to feel wrong, and it would make them feel so bad. But if you can look at these different parts of yourself, it's called what's called shadow work. It's such an amazing release. You have the whole, you can finally get rid of whatever was blocking you and it's usually like an unconscious block, and you're like, oh my god, this whole time I was letting that unconscious fear, that core belief that wasn't even true about me or the world, like ruin my life. And so it does involve like looking at these hidden aspects of yourself, what Jung called the shadow side of you. And that's what you hear about shadow work, is understanding, having, it's not even just the discipline, it's having the courage to look at these parts of yourself that you didn't maybe even know existed. Hello, nice to see you, SCR7 skill zone. So that to look at these parts of yourself that you didn't even know were there, and it's like, holy crap, that's what was blocking this whole time. Wow. And then you're usually so grateful for it. And that's what a therapist or coach or any type of person that knows what they're doing, they're holding a space for you to explore all of these things. Like, even if you just take my course or anyone's course that's good, they should be holding a space for you to explore these things, these hidden aspects of yourself that were holding you back, these subconscious things, what's called shadow pieces of us. And we all have them. We're all understanding these different shadow aspects of us. And once those are revealed, it's so liberating. It's so liberating, you guys. These unconscious fears, these addictions, these behavior patterns don't control you anymore, and it feels really good. So I talk about that a lot. I'm like, hey, for instance, in a recent post, I was talking about, if the fact that, and it was from a live, actually, I took the clip from the live stream we did on Monday, and I was saying, if you've attracted a narcissist into your life, there's probably an aspect of you that overgives, and that you feel like you have to give so much of yourself to just receive a little bit. And typically when we attract people that are narcissistic, they're huge energy vampires. They're huge takers, and you can never feel like you're doing enough. They drain the life force out of you. So if you are attracting those type of people, somewhere in there, in your mind or subconscious mind, you have an issue receiving. That's what I said. And maybe not an issue, but there's an opportunity for growth to be able to receive like adequately, just for you being you, for you. And this shows up in work. I see people in very like abusive, narcissistic work situations that give so much, and they're getting underpaid for what their value is. And they eventually get like frustrated, but I'm trying to bring it up so you guys can understand that without it getting to a point of like crisis. But and it's okay if you're in crisis. Sometimes crisis helps us like finally hit a rock bottom moment and be like, fuck this, I'm not doing it anymore. So, but all I'm saying is sometimes I'll say that, like, hey, if you have this pattern in your life, it's probably because unconsciously you have this going on. And people accuse me of victim blaming. I'm like, how am I victim blaming? Like, we have to take responsibility. Like, if you have a narcissist in your life, I don't believe anyone's a victim. If you're like, if, and I'm talking about if you're not a child, or if you're not someone that's incapacitated in some type of way, if you're a fully functioning adult making decisions. We make bad decisions sometimes. I sure as hell have made a lot of bad decisions, okay? But it doesn't make me a victim. I felt very victimized in those situations. And when I was younger, I was a victim to like narcissistic abuse. And, I was, under certain people's care that like weren't taking care of me. So it's like that there's being a victim. But in adulthood, I made bad decisions. And maybe not even calling them bad. I was just learning lessons, right? Because I always say these negative or these traumatizing relationships can actually be the best teachers. Like they can be the best spiritual teachers. They can upgrade you to like another dimension. Like if you learn the lessons from these toxic relationships with these people with personality disorders, you can skyrocket to another level of your life, like your health, wealth, relationships, everything is amazing. That's the point of my course. Especially the one that has to do with healing from toxic relationships and narcissistic abuse. It's not just, yes, I mean, a lot of people that enter the course are in the depths of despair. They're very desperate. They're very upset. But we're going from there to I am living a life that I never thought possible. And it's actually in a short amount of time. That course is 4 weeks long. You would, like, I'm telling you, I know the medical industry and a lot of other industries don't want you to think that things they want you to think things need to take a long time. They don't. They don't. I love getting my clients up and running, and then it's like, hell yeah, let's talk. Let's have some like first world problems. Let's have some like rich bitch problems, is what I say. Let me see you guys. Teacher for Nylons. Thank you, double 007. Thank you. Hi, Plenty or Plen Q3. Nice to see you guys. Nice to see you guys. So yeah, I'm never, I'm doing the opposite of that. I'm never victim blaming, but people get so triggered sometimes when I talk about taking responsibility for your side of things. Like, hey, you attracted this, and I don't want this to be a pattern in your life. So like, let me help you understand what's going on consciously and subconsciously pretty quickly, so you can like live an amazing life and not be stuck in these patterns with these people. So but I know it's very hard to look at yourself, and a lot of people would rather do anything than look at themselves, and some people really are addicted to their victimhood. That is a real addiction. And so they'll accuse people of me who I'm like trying to help. They'll be like, oh, you're victim shaming. No, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to get you to see what you can't see so you don't have this problem anymore. So that is my stance on that. I don't know who Ella Langley is. Ella Langley? Ella Langley? I don't know who that is. Marcus? How are you guys doing? Let me know if you have any questions. And so the next question I got was, okay, smear campaigning. Oh boy. This is a big one, especially with narcissists. So narcissists do not like when, and it happens a lot when you either leave a narcissist or someone with a personality disorder, when you leave them, because they cannot handle any form of rejection. They have to be the one to reject you. And so if you reject them, they literally feel like they're going to die. It's called narcissistic annihilation. So, and like, I'll take about when I'm talking about leaving, like a breakup. And so in order to, and by the time you do this, you've had it with them, right? And then so everyone wants to know what's going on, and you're going to tell them the truth. And they don't want anyone knowing like who they really are. So they, in their mind, they're like getting ahead of the truth coming out by talking a bunch of crap about you. And what they actually do, that's a lot of people find very frustrating, is that they smear campaign. They do a big like rumor thing. saying that you did stuff that they did. Like whatever they did, they will accuse you of doing it to other people. And sometimes, like I have a lot of clients that get frustrated with this, but those narcissists have played themselves out so much that even the people that they're trying to do a smear campaign with or they're lying to, like, don't believe them. They're like, everyone, eventually everyone knows the truth about these people. And it's kind of like, okay, yeah, like, no one's really taking them seriously. So at least know that and let that bring you some peace is that one, I really believe that everything and everyone always plays themselves out. So it's going to get played out. So you just keep being you, you just stay in your integrity and everything will work itself out. And if really anyone is believing a narcissist or, like has their, if they're part of the narcissistic supply, you don't want to be around those people anyway. Does that make sense? So, but yeah, they will literally just go to any lengths to make stuff up that isn't true. Because if you leave them, one, they don't want you to do any better than them. They don't want you to be happy without them. If they can't be under your control, they don't want you to be any happier without them. They don't like when you are happy. They feed off of you being miserable. Why? Because they have so much guilt and shame. The whole basis of narcissistic personality disorder is they have so much guilt and shame that they refuse to look at and metabolize, so they offload it onto you. And when you feel bad, they feel relief. They literally feel good and they feel relief. So if they don't have that, they're feeling all of those bad feelings get inflamed again. They don't like that. And then, again, the whole rejection piece of you leaving them. So they're going to talk a lot of shit. But always know that if you're in your integrity, you just keep doing you. You just keep doing the right thing. I'm really proud of you for getting out of that toxic relationship, and just know it will play itself out in your favor. I have not seen it. I've seen some bad smear campaigns, right? And it always ends up, especially now, and like we live in the digital era. Do you really think you're going to get away, especially if it's like a huge lie that when you're trying to, take someone's like professional relationship or reputation down? Like it's really gonna not go well for you, for the narcissist. So just keep staying focused on what you're doing. If you have any type of spiritual orientation, really lean into that. And that's the other thing about these toxic relationships. It could really align you on a deeper level with your higher, whatever you call it, God, source, universe, Allah, I don't care what you call it. It will align you deeper with that. It's one of the first things I ask what my clients is like, what's your spiritual orientation? So I could speak that language and help you align with that higher power more, because you can't do it on your own. Even like I said, the most famous Carl Jung, right there, one of the most famous psychologists, Carl Jung, said that whatever you want, or whatever kind of healing that you want, it needs to be happening. Oh, hello, Jesse. um, Jesse just texted me. So whatever you want, it happens on a spiritual plane, right? So we have our thoughts and we have our own willpower, and that's where most of us think that the answers come from. It's like, oh, I got to but even Carl Jung, one of the most famous psychologists, told us that what you want, like sometimes what we call manifesting now, anything that you want, and then all healing happens on a spiritual level, on the spiritual plane, or the energy. If you want to think of it as energy, if you want to think of it more scientifically or quantum physics, it's like the energetic level, or connecting with God, source, universe, that higher level of existence. So that is what. So anyway, when you're going through a smear campaign, it could be really devastating, but know that it will pass. It will always play itself out. And it's really difficult with children sometimes, because narcissists will weaponize children, during a divorce. And sometimes that takes longer. Sometimes the kids need to grow up and then realize what was going on. And that's sad. And hopefully Carl Jung is great. Yes, he is. But hopefully they do. Sometimes that doesn't happen, and usually those type of children also become narcissists or have like severe personality disorders, so that happens too, and you have to just be okay with that. Like I've gone non-contact with people in my life that are like that, because it's like it's it's too much. It's too much of an energy drain. But the other thing with smear campaigning that you just have to be strategic about, especially if it's at work, you have to document everything, you have to email everything. I have such a hard time sometimes with at first. I mean, I don't have a hard time, but I feel so bad because like these people that have narcissistic bosses, like especially if there's a power dynamic, they're afraid to report things to HR that should be reported. And I have to remind them, it's like, are you going to constantly live in fear? Are you going to constantly, you spend a lot of your waking, like your life at work. So are you going to spend a big part of your life, like literally in this high level cortisol state where you are like really frying your nervous system? Is that how you're going to live your life? Or are you going to provide safety for yourself? What are you going to do? Like, you have to think of it that way. And if you get fired, and usually, I mean, usually the fear is blown up in your mind because like narcissists know how to do that. They know how to trigger a very like primitive fear response. So you're kind of immobilized. So you're under their power and control and manipulation. And it's often exaggerated in our minds, but you cannot live, if you're seeing this and you have like a narcissistic boss or there's any type of power dynamic, you cannot live your life like that. And there is a way out. And I promise you that way and that life away from that will be better. I promise you that, even if you can't see it now. Hi guys. And then the other thing is, and this is kind of correlated, but in a different way. So narcissists, they cheat. They always have extra supply in the background. So when you piss them off or they need extra attention, and they never get enough attention. And that's why when you're around them, you feel in your gut like you have to do more. And they, like I was saying before, they siphon so much energy. They drain so much energy from you because you never feel like you're doing enough. And so they cheat. They have other people in the background. But the other thing is that often, especially in marriages, that maybe you don't want to get out of right now for whatever reason. The kids like, or you maybe just don't have the courage. Like some people come to me, they're like, I'm just afraid. Like I've just been in this relationship for such a long time. So if that is the case, a lot of times you're in the situation and then the person that is with the narcissist will also cheat to get some type of emotional, physical, like all of the above needs met from another person. And so I don't think that's talked about as much. Like the narcissist is doing it to get supply, to threaten you, to triangulate, to, feed their addiction, and their personality disorder, right? But if you're in a relationship with one of these people, the other person will cheat just to actually have a real relationship, because it's a very lonely experience being with a narcissist. And so I just wanted to like normalize that, because there's a lot of content on I make a lot of content on that about how narcissists cheat. So you don't feel so alone in that, but narcissists also, their partners typically cheat. And so, but here's the thing, if you're in a marriage or a long-term situation, you have kids, and the narcissist finds out you're cheating, they will make the biggest smear campaign against that. They will weaponize that and use that as a form of parental alienation. They will tell the kids, which is completely inappropriate, that should never happen, but they'll tell the kids, oh yeah, your mom, your dad cheated on me, I'm the victim. So now they're the victim. They're probably also cheating. The narcissist is probably also cheating. But if you get caught by a narcissist cheating, then they'll just make it all about like, I am so victimized, I can't believe you did this to me. And so it's just a bad situation all around, and they'll act like you're this terrible person. I have a little story time for you. So if you watch my content, I talk about my code names with my exes. So one of them I call Angry Midget, because he was very angry, and he was also short, and angry about a lot of things, including being short. And anyway, and it's also just a funny name. So he had this whole victim story about like he had a long-term ex-girlfriend and she cheated. And then this other, then I talked to him a few years later, and he had this other girlfriend that was like a sex addict and cheated. And it's kind of like, oh, do you see a theme here? Like, they are And I remember having that thought when I dated him. I was like, the only way to survive this would be to like have another, you know, like I was like, I can see why his ex-girlfriends did this. And he was the one that like was super wealthy. And so like I think that those girls were staying around because he was wealthy, but it wasn't even, I've mentioned this before, it wasn't even like fun doing like, billionaire shit with him. Like it was just like, why are we like I've never, and I would tell him, angry midget, like we're doing things that are on people's bucket list, right? Of things to do. And it's like, I want to go home. Like I'm counting the days till I get to go home. And I could be in, wherever, like these different parts of the world. I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to get home, because he would make everything so miserable. So yeah, he had this whole victim story about like, oh, these girls cheated on me. And I'm like, yeah, they wanted to be with you because you're rich, but like you're not providing any type of like emotional, psychological, physical, like it's just so, yeah, you're going to get cheated. No one wants to, so if that is what's, if you're watching this and you're in a long-term relationship with a narcissist and you had something on the side, it's normal. I would again, like I always tell everyone that watches any of my content, you deserve to be in a safe, loving, stable, secure relationship. You get to have that with yourself. And then, if in a romantic relationship, in your work environment, you get to have that in every area of your life, is peace and safety. Peace is in terms of like on a vibrational level. There's a David R. David R. Hawkins writes about this, about like the energy states. The the feeling and state of peace is a very high vibrational state. A lot of times you don't want to be happier. You want to be at peace. And so you deserve to have that in your relationships, okay? Let me know if you guys have any questions. Um, Hi, Tim. I see you. Nice to see you again. So, did you take any of my advice from last time? Because you're saying you're super lonely and depressed. Did you take any of my advice from last time? Are we making any identity shifts? Because like I said before, you could have been depressed since 2014, and you can shift that in 14 seconds. You can make a decision that, okay, this has been this way for this long, and now I'm going to do this. It's just a decision. That's why things like New Year's, like obviously January 1st doesn't have any like symbolic, except it's like the start of a new year, but it's like it feels very refreshing to people, or the Lunar New Year that just happened. But it's like at any moment it could be your new year. At any moment it could be your new life. Jesse, I see what you wrote. But it is worth repeating that at any moment your life can start over again. There's this one creator on TikTok that I really like. She talks about like, anytime you're always a clean slate. Anytime you want to start again, every time your heart beats, it's a new opportunity to start over again. And that is so true. And that's what's so beautiful about life, if you really think about it. Because I've had days where I'm like, oh, this sucks. I hate, and it's like, no, I could change that in a minute. That's how powerful you are, and that's how powerful your mind is. And I think that's pretty fucking cool. And so let me see, what's the next? I had one about borderline. Oh yeah, borderline. Yeah. I don't think I got to that one last time. So borderline personality disorder it's kind of like the inversion of narcissistic personality disorder. There's a lot of overlapping things, but there's some very distinct differences. Borderline, it got its name because they're like, there's this group of people, they're like kind of narcissistic. They're kind of, it's like more intense than just a regular, like anxious type of personality, but it's not quite psychotic, but they have these moments where they're psychotic. So they're kind of like on the borderline of that. That's where so they just call them borderline. So, but no, borderline people can dip into like psychotic behavior, where like, meaning like, it's like what they're experiencing isn't happening in reality, or they will, you experience it like they're just making shit up, like, and because they are, and it's usually a form of manipulation. But another salient feature of borderline personality disorder is that they think in black and white terms. There's no gray area. You either love me or you hate me. They have, where narcissistic people are like, and I mean, narcissistic people also don't like abandonment, but they will abandon you first. They'll be like, you know, to like avoid all of that. It shows up more like avoidant attachment, whereas borderline personality disorder, their attachment style shows up like anxious attachment more. So it's like love me, I can't get enough, like and it's never enough. And it's still like for their ego validation, it's not real. So their love bombing phase could look very exciting. It's like, oh my God, I'm just so much in lust. And like they weaponize and use sex a lot to do that. Oh my God, I have a good story time about a borderline. I'll tell you about it in a second. But they weaponize sex, or they use it to draw people in. And it's like very like, it looks histrionic sometimes, like, oh my God, you're just so blah, blah, blah. And like, but it could feel really good to someone's ego. Like, oh my God, I'm like so sexy. This bitch thinks I'm so hot or whatever. Men can have it too. Um, oh no, I just thought of another good borderline story that has to do with a man, because like when the diagnosis first happened, it was only like, well, actually, still, like people think of it like as primarily women having borderline. Men and women can equally have borderline personality disorder. Um, but I think maybe because it looks very emotional and hysterical. And another thing that they do is threaten suicide a lot. And to get you to like back off. So whereas a narcissist will like bully you or abandon you or like just get up and leave, like a borderline would be like, oh, I'm gonna like they go into this big victim thing and they're like, why are you doing this to me? I'm gonna kill myself. And then you're like, okay. So it's still the same form of manipulation, so they don't have to take responsibility, and so they can manipulate and control you, but it's just done in a different way. And yeah, so those are the main things. And so yeah, they just have this like an anxious attachment type of thing. And the two kind of story times I was thinking about, one involves a neighbor of mine who was just so borderline. And like, again, they come off like both borderline and narcissistic. They're very magnetic at first. Like they're usually fun. There's something that pulls them. Otherwise, who would deal with them? So she's kind of fun or whatever. And then I noticed that she's like really flirtatious. She has a boyfriend. Okay. She has a boyfriend and she has a toddler, and she is also like banging the guy against the down the hall, so one of her neighbors, and she has a boyfriend, right? And then I come to find out, because I befriend her, that she has this other sugar daddy. And then on the other side of our, building complex, she's like banging this other guy. And then it's all to get her, like she'll get like that guy will like run an errand for her. That guy will buy her dinner. That guy, and or maybe she would do a lot of drugs too. There's a big comorbidity with addiction, and people that have personality disorders, because they don't want to deal with their emotions or who they really are, so they numb out with different addictions. So yeah, so she was doing all this stuff, like having sex with all these people. But do you see how and then she would like, when she would get her Botox done, she would like seduce and she was telling me all this, like it's normal. That I'm like, okay, we need to. And then she's also talking shit about her friends, and then being nice to them in front, like just very two-faced, very black and white. That's a very like borderline type of thing. So I don't recommend being friends with those people for the long term. And then another borderline story is, I was going to potentially work with this client. He's like, oh my God, I'm just suicidal and all this stuff. And I'm feeling it in my gut. I'm feeling like some borderline vibes, right? And then he was a friend of a friend. I usually would not do this, but he was like, hi. But he was like, can you come over? Like, cause I would want like in person, and one of my very good friends connected us. Otherwise I wouldn't have done this. So I go over and he's like, I'm just so sad. I had this breakup, blah, blah, blah. And then he starts trying to act all like all seductive or whatever. And I'm just kind of like, okay, bye. And so he was like, oh yeah, just send me your contract. I'll pay whatever. And then I like charged him like 5 times as much as I usually charge. And then he just like, oh, never mind. And then he hired another therapist that went over to his house and banged him. Like, you know what I mean? And then he got his ego validated which is just like, I can't believe a therapist would do that. But anyway, these people like weaponize sex. And if you have sex with them, they feel better. It's like, there is kind of like some sex addiction in there. It's not stated like that in the DSM, but I really think that there's some overlapping. Yes, Amos Thuckerman, it was for you. Hello. Hi, nice to see you. Let me see. On the topic of receiving, that was a new perspective that I wasn't aware of. Thank you. You're welcome. I think it's so important, and so it took me a while to understand that. And then when it was told to me in my healing process, first I was shocked, and then I was so thankful. And I'm like, yeah, that is true. At work, I always take less. Like, this is when I was working for the government. I used to be a personality profiler for the federal government. So when I was working for the government, I'm like, yeah, like I'm really good at what I do. And I don't ask for what I want, like in terms of pay. And even when I started my private practice, it took me a while to like charge what I'm worth. And still, like, I mean, there are coaches on the internet, you won't believe what they charge. And without talking any crap, like I think that my skill set is better than theirs. Let's just say that, okay? But they're charging like $1,000 a session, which is like anyway. So, but and then in my relationships, all this stuff, and so a light bulb went off, and I'm like, yeah, I have an opportunity for growth around receiving. Like, I feel like I have to give so much to just get a little bit, which is like part of that is like anxious attachment and feeling like unworthy of that. So, yeah. And anytime I'm talking about, and again, I will always be straight up with you about what's going on, because I am very nurturing, and it's like I'm always giving you guys like a big energetic hug. But I also, like, when you're answering your questions, I'm going to be honest with you about it too. Tim says my birthday on Saturday, and I already have, well, we were talking about this on Monday, Tim. You can make a community anytime. You can make your own tribe. Like I was saying on Monday, I found this guy on TikTok who's like, I'm going to make friends. I'm starting my TikTok page to make friends. And it was really cute. And, you can do that. You can decide, okay, I was this way. And this is for all of you guys or anyone watching this later. You can decide at any moment, okay, I used to be lonely and depressed, and now I'm not. No, I'm not. What would that new version of you look like? I love talking about identity shifting because it's such a, like, Neville Goddard talks about it. And, and Psycho-Cybernetics, the book Psycho-Cybernetics is so amazing about like describing this whole thing. It's like, if you change your self-concept, you can change your life. And the guy that wrote Psycho-Cybernetics, he was a plastic surgeon. And he was just like, there are two types of clients I have. He's like, some of them get their plastic surgery and they really believe they're going to be a new person. So it's like, boom, they're a new person. And like these other areas of their life get better. It's fascinating. And then these other people, they get the surgery and like physically they've changed, but they still have this belief about themselves. And so sometimes their plastic surgery like it'll go back to the way it was before, which is fascinating. Like, that's how much power your mind has over like each cell of your body. And so, but he was saying that it's because of their core belief. Like, some people believed like they had an identity shift, and some people didn't have an identity shift. So once you decide, hey, this is my new identity from here on out, the world's yours. You hold your world in the palm of your hands. Yeah, exactly, Amos. Talk to somebody. Like, you have to help yourself. So I would love for you to get on here, Tim, and be like, hey, here's what I did today. I don't know, did one thing. I walked to the park and said hello to someone. I sat at a coffee shop. I gave someone a compliment, And often another good thing to do is to help someone else too. If you're feeling like a really, in a really low space, help someone else. You'd be so surprised. Like in 12-step programs, that's one of the kind of like the foundational things is like, because we can get so self-loathing that could become an addiction. And again, like I've told you guys before, like I have been there, like unconsciously addicted to sadness without even knowing it. And so, like, no judgment if that's the case. Um, just know that you're not alone, but you can't get out of it. And once you do, it's like, oh my God, it feels so empowering. Give someone a compliment, call a friend and just or text someone and say, I'm glad you're in my life. Or is there anything I could do for you? You know? Even if you just get on, I don't know, you could get on a live stream like this and help other people. There's so many things you can do. Let's see. Saying hello or good morning may change someone's day. Exactly. Compliments, well, I'm talking about giving someone a compliment, you know? And again, that is a decision you can make. You could decide, like, that's a form of receiving. So you're deciding to not receive compliments. Okay, well, that's on you. But you can give them. But, like, you know, you could either again, you could say, "Oh, that doesn't work for me, that doesn't work." You can do that, but, I am here to help people. I don't feed victim addictions. So I'm here to help, but, like, if you I've actually and this is a good thing to talk about, like, if you are a coach or someone that's in healing, like coach, therapist, sometimes, like, sometimes you'll come across people that, like, just want their victim story validated. And a lot of people, I know a lot of therapists that just make a lot of money off of, you know, especially that this is how narcissists go to therapy. Like they'll pay a therapist to just um to like co-sign their bullshit. And I'm not that way. I've given people their money back. I've been like, I'm not the one for you. So I work with people that like want to, you know, work on themselves. Like if you watch my videos, if you attend live streams, if you take any of my courses, it's for people that want to fucking shift and level up and rewire their brain. Like my background is in neuroscience and psychology, of course. And so it's kind of like, let's rewire your brain, let's reprogram you. You came here to evolve, not stay stuck in any addiction. Let's see if you have any questions. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed this one. Is it possible to heal the nervous system while still being around those with Yes, absolutely, it is. Excellent question, Mike. It is possible to heal your nervous system while still being around cluster B personalities, people with personality disorders. And when you do, they don't affect you. It's like a little repellent, like they don't want to come near you because what they thrive on is dysregulating you, is draining your energy and dysregulating you. So not only will are you able to continue to heal and you know when they're around, but the dynamic changes. And it's just like anything in science. If something changes, the other thing also changes, right? Like if I turn off this light right here, it'll affect like the light balance, right? Like it, you know, everything affects everything. If I, you know, if you put a pebble in the lake, it like reverberate. It's the same type of thing. So when you shift your energy, first of all, you become you become the most powerful one. And then everything else will shift. I remember being told this and then just finally like implementing it with the narcissist in my life and they just shifted. They're like, "Oh shit, those old tactics don't work anymore." And it feels so powerful to be in such a state of peace that you can't be rocked by any type of cluster B personality disorder. So, yeah, great question. And you can definitely heal and inspire others to heal. Um, Mike, yes, great question. By regulating your nervous system. And it's difficult at first, and then it gets easier and easier. And then, you know, something will come up or you'll be tired or something might catch you off guard where you're like, oh, you get triggered for a second, but you recover so much faster. And it feels so good. And I love when this happens with my clients. They're like, oh my God, you won't believe it. Like all my clients, I talk to them every day and they'll celebrate their wins with me because I really think that that's important to celebrate your wins all the time, at least on a daily basis. And so they'll be like, yeah, this happened and I wasn't even triggered. I didn't even notice it. It's like so amazing when that happens. So Yes, Mike, great question. You can do that, and it will feel so good when you do, to just be, at this unbothered level. I did a post recently about just the unbothered level of healing where it's like, that doesn't even affect me anymore. That used to trigger me, just doesn't. And it feels really good. Um, let's see. Last time I gave someone a compliment, I got slapped for just being nice. Well, I think it would take a lot to get slapped by someone. Why don't you try it again, Tim, giving someone a compliment? Like, those are nice glasses you have on. That is a nice shirt. I don't think anyone's going to slap you for saying that's a nice shirt. Like, I mean, so I don't know. And again, like, this is a core belief thing. If you believe that things are going to be bad, if you give someone a compliment, the world will reflect that back to you. Your world is a reflection of you and your belief systems. Sorry. Like, and when I learned that too, that and this is like quantum physics, this is science, this is neuroscience and psychology. And there's spirituality too. You could find this in every like spiritual practice, but this is just scientifically proven that your world is a reflection of your belief system. That's why I'm saying change your belief system, change your identity, change how you see the world. Oh, well, now I think the world bends to my will. I'm the luckiest person in the world. Everything goes my way. I am a multimillionaire and I make money with ease. My body is in perfect health. I have a fast metabolism. Those could be your beliefs. Or you could keep saying, oh, like it just everything's so hard. Then it'll be hard. Then it'll be hard. Yep. Let me see. Hi, Lauren. Good to hear you on your live stream. Hi, James. I even offered to pay someone. Yeah, well, then change your belief system. How about your new belief system is like, I do nice things for people and people express gratitude towards me. I'm not letting you off the hook. Like, once you shift out of a victim mentality, the world will go your way. End of story. Got more people in here. Nice. Oh, nice. Yeah, Tim. Word 100%, Jesse says. But yeah, I know it can be difficult at first. So I'm just looking at these questions. Okay, the breadcrumbing and being addicted to it. This is such a sneaky one. And it goes along with the whole thing of like receiving and worthiness, is that when you are in these, and you could be in a long-term relationship with a narcissist, or you could just have like these chronic patterns of being okay with, but not really being okay with, but tolerating, you shouldn't be tolerating, but tolerating receiving or settling for less than you deserve. And that could show up in your relationships. That could show up monetarily with how much money you receive, make it work, your health, all of these things could show up in every area of your life where you just tolerate and you're willing to settle for less than you want, need, or deserve. And so in these toxic relationships, we get breadcrumbed, we get love bombed, and then you're on this high, you're literally addicted to and you're getting a high off of the love bombing phase. It's called idealization in psychology. And then when it's taken away, we get these cortisol spikes and we're like jonesing to get that back. And then we get a little bit of that, the breadcrumbs, and then we make a feast out of those breadcrumbs. And then you can actually, get used to that. Like your nervous system could be so dysregulated that you kind of you get used to breadcrumbs. And so you unconsciously kind of accept that in every area of your life. And then if you were raised by a narcissist, this can be, and this is what leads to a lot of codependent stuff and you putting up with shit that you shouldn't be putting up with, is because your primary caregiver, which is often your parent, made you feel like that, like you had to just settle, "Oh, you should be lucky, you're a brat, you fucking spoiled brat, you're so spoiled." It's like, no, I just want basic needs met, I just wanna feel safe and loved, you deserve to have those things, and it's not asking too much. Whatever you want, you're not asking too much. Your desires are divinely placed in your heart because you're supposed to have them. If you understand quantum physics, your desires mean on another timeline that you have access to, you already have those things. That's why in this timeline, you're like wanting it because it's like, oh, I could feel it. I am supposed to have those things. Okay, they're yours. Your desires are meant for you to have because they're yours. Everyone has different, unique desires. And you're worthy of those things. And once you normalize it, then you could have it really easily. Like, of course, I deserve to have this. And again, Neville Goddard talks a lot about that. Like, just normalize whatever your desires are. It's natural. It's natural for me to have radiant health. It's natural for me to have a thriving business. Whatever. It's natural for me to have the most amazing, safe, secure, loving relationship. Online I am. Yeah, so the expansionist 93 is Jesse. That's who, when I say Jesse, yes. The expansionist, sorry, the expansionist, sorry. Okay. My bad. Let me know if you don't want me to, I can private this live. I talk to you guys like I know you because I feel like I do, and I really like care about you. But I'm sorry. I could take this down, or like I could edit out that. Let me know. The expansionist, let me know. Okay, that gives me hope. Doing the nervous system work seemed like pumping water out of. Oh, no, no, no. Yeah, I know it can seem like that, but again, change your belief system to like when I work on my nervous system, it automatically changes. Because here's the other thing, and that's why I'm always drilling it into your guys' head. It does not need to take a long time. I feel like the medical industry, especially, and other industries want you to think it takes a long time. So you doubt yourself because your mind is so powerful. So it's like, oh, okay, no, I need these extra drugs and I need this and I need that to like, and you don't. I'm here to tell you that you don't. And I think sometimes my stuff gets censored, but I don't care. Like it does not need to take a long time. So once you decide, like, hey, when I work on myself for 10 minutes in the morning or whatever it is, and every time I think about if I'm rewiring my nervous system, it works. It works. I'm getting better. I'm regulating myself. I'm recalibrating myself. And like I've mentioned before, the most important times or some of the most important times to do it is when your brain is in a theta state. So as you're falling asleep and as you're waking up, do neurological reprogramming techniques. And it could just be affirmations and visualization. Those work the best when your brain is in a theta state. So yes, Mike, it definitely can work very easily. So even change that, like, that image of pumping water um, out of a leaky boat. Like imagine like it's just a perfectly sound boat and it's just everything, like change that image, recalibrate that image. So we're uninstalling that belief. And it's like, of course my mind is so powerful and all these techniques, they just immediately work and then they will. James, how much time do you think to heal from a 6-year relationship with 2 children? I mean, really, it could take as long as you want. I don't ascribe to like the whole, oh, it takes half the time you're in the relationship. I think that that's bullshit. And again, we don't want to bypass anything. We don't want to suppress anything. We want to fully feel everything. And that is really the essential part of it, is like feeling all of the feelings of grief. And like the more work you do, again, I do recommend journaling if you're not working with someone, but even if you are working with someone, like journaling as much as you can helps so much. Like it can really reprogram your brain. So I don't feel like it has to take that long. Now we can hold on to things. Some people hold on to things for a really long time, and some people really do release it. And when you're releasing things, what you're actually doing is expanding your ability to experience real love, and you're expanding your ability to experience and have and hold real peace, and know that you're worthy of that. If you really have the belief that, yes, I'm worthy of this, then you can have that. And I've seen things change really quickly. I've seen people like that, I've worked with that have been in like the most terrible, like traumatizing marriage, and they had a traumatizing childhood and then just repeated it in their marriage, got out of that marriage, worked on themselves, like really just worked on themselves, and then were able to like attract a really good, safe, loving, supportive, romantic partner, and they're in a good marriage, and it didn't take that long, and they weren't like running to the next relationship like a lot of narcissists do, or a lot of people that are traumatized do, like really doing the work. But I promise you, it can be released, and you can heal from it. And yeah, and then with the children, that is specific. If it's like, are they your kids? Are they the other person's? And because we don't want the kids weaponized in any way. But the answer to that is, it does not need to take a long time, especially when you really claim and understand that you can have exactly what you want out of your relationship. I was just Kay, as far as being for life. Oh yeah. Growing is a lifetime yeah, and exactly, like, we're never done evolving. That's another thing, like, I feel like there's some people that just wanna get triggered by shit, or just, like, wanna, like, argue with me, but, like, a lot of my stuff I say, like, we're always evolving, or, like, we're always, like, trying to improve, like, there's nothing to improve. Are you saying that there's something defective about me? No, bitch, I'm not saying there's something defective about you. I'm saying that if you have a pattern that you wanna change, it's possible, and that we should always be. If you're stagnant, that's actually the definition of, like, death in a way, is to be, like, kind of stagnant, or like, what's it called when it's like when you're flatlining. We don't want to flatline. We always want to be evolving in some way, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, all of these things, and even just helping other people. There's always room to evolve, and like, that's why I always ask, like, what's your spiritual orientation? Because if you're spiritually bankrupt, then it's going to be hard to like connect with that. Then things are going to seem empty. But when you realize you get to a state of healing, just like on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it starts with like food and shelter, and then it like goes up to relationships and purpose, and then it's like spirituality. Like, even just looking at that, right? And then like this conversation that we're having with Tim is kind of like, okay, well, when you're in like that victim space, you're kind of like, okay, survival mode. You want to go from surviving to thriving. That's why my course is called like Thriving, like recovering and thriving after narcissistic abuse and toxic relationships. Because yeah, of course I want you to be better. I want you to freaking thrive too. That's what you came here to do. What does it mean to do the work? Excellent question, James. So when I say do the work, I'm talking about reprogramming your brain and rewiring your brain and reprogramming your nervous system to be in a state of peace, where you can literally thrive in every area of your life, your health, wealth, relationships, and career. And we all have things that we want, and we all have like aspirations. So to get you there, so to do the work is, I mean, you could look at any of my videos. Most of them have some type of neurological reprogramming technique, or a way to change a core belief about something. Like, hey, you might be thinking of something this way. What if you thought about it this way? And so really it's just recalibrating your identity, like how you see yourself, your standards, which is why I often talk about you guys writing down what your standards are. If you don't know what your standards are, you will settle for less. So writing those down, and just constantly like doing self-evaluation and looking at yourself. That's how you understand your shadows, and that's how they don't rule you anymore. They're not like just in your subconscious mind taking up a bunch of space and kind of low-key sabotaging you. So, and like modifying behaviors that get in the way is another way to do the work. So if it could be something that a lot of people don't like. Oh, I tend to binge watch TV and stay up too late, blah, blah, blah. Oh, it's a bad habit. Or it could be, okay, yes, it's a bad habit, but yes, but it could also be like, oh, I'm sabotaging myself because I don't feel worthy of having the best health, or that if I did use that time to work on my project, then I'd have to really show up and be seen in that way. There's usually something underneath a bad habit that is helping us understand ourselves more and where we can grow, or where we have fears around. So, does that answer it? Like, that's such a big question, but yeah, it's mostly about modifying our behavior, getting things out of the way that are holding us back. Is what anyway, I just took a long time to answer, but let me know if that makes sense, James. I believe the work is doing things that will help me. Yeah, absolutely, and not hurt you. Now, with the caveat of, like, sometimes when we do the work, it's a little painful to look at, and that's okay. That's why, you know, yeah, I really think it's a good idea to work with a therapist or coach so they could hold that space for you. So it's kind of like there are so many times. I can't think of one client or course student I have where it's like, "Oh, that's painful. That's hard." And like I've cried with my clients and it's like, "Yeah, that's hard to look at." And then you move past it and then it feels so liberating. So yeah, it's always helpful in the end. So all I'm saying is like, yes, we don't want to do anything that hurts you, but are you going to have times when you're uncomfortable? Yeah, and that's okay. Um, if you believe that you're not liked or loved, the world will reflect that back to you. So, Tim, if you say, I'm liked and I'm loved, the world will reflect that back to you. Yes, expansionist. Yeah. I mean, and also, even more than just cheering up would actually decide to cheer up, decide that the world works this way for you, and it will. It will. So, anytime someone says, "Oh, that's your belief system." I don't have the belief system that I'm not liked or loved. I don't have I feel like people like, and when I hear people say I'm not liked or loved, you don't love or like yourself. So, I would start there because there's no reason to not like or love yourself. And I've also been there. I've also been where I've just like in the depths of despair. I mentioned this on Monday where I was so in the depths of despair, and like I told God, like, get me out of this. I will help everyone I can. So I understand how uncomfortable that is, but I mean, are you uncomfortable or do you like being sad? The I comment to make you angry. I made it. I'm late, but I made it. Hi, good to see you. Very good to see you. Um, let's see. Well, oh, but the pyramid is called Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and so yeah, it starts with your basic needs, and then it goes up to like ego validation and like accomplishments, achievements, and then relationships. I think relationships are first, and then it goes all the way up to spirituality. So as you have all of those things, then you get to spirituality, and then there's another. So Maslow, and then this other guy. I have this spiral dynamics. Spiral dynamics is cool, you guys. So it's like a little bit more complex than Maslow. So the spiral dynamics guy and Maslow, they went to school together at the same time. And so the guy that invented spiral dynamics, he's like, yeah, like people are at these different levels of consciousness and it's a lot more complicated. And so Maslow took that theory and like made it a lot more simple. And so most people know about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but if you want to do a deep dive, you can look into spiral dynamics, because it's just some interesting stuff. Let's see, the expansionist, thriving. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. I'm here to help you guys thrive. I freaking love that. I want you guys to thrive. We all have hard times. And those hard times could be the catalyst to get you to your best timeline, to get you to the best, most like epic time of your life, like where your health, wealth, relationships are just on fire, right? And so that's the main point of what I do. And yes, I do that through helping you guys like through psychology and neuroscience and quantum physics. But but some people do it through Reiki, some people do it. This is just what I'm helping you guys. I really want you to thrive. I want you, and then you could help other people, and then you could be of service more, and then it makes everyone, you're doing it for the greatest good of all. It's not just like this selfish thing. Some people are so feel so bad about themselves and that they're like, oh, that'd be selfish. No, it's actually you're being selfish if you stay small. You're supposed to share your gifts, skills, talents, and abilities with the world. So we want you to thrive so you can do more of that. Hello. I have so much respect for you. I'm just here to listen and learn. I'm right here. I'm right there with you. Oh, thank you. I comment to make you angry. Appreciate that. And again, let me know if you guys have any questions, but thanks so much. James says, thank you, or thanks for your service. You are helping me. Oh, you're so welcome. You are so welcome. I love helping you guys. So yeah, and you guys ask such good questions. I'm looking at my other questions here. I don't remember what I wrote. It said, an attempt to portray themselves as the complete opposite of who they are. Oh yeah, that's more of the love bomb. So I get, again, like some people, they're just so devastated. They're like, I literally fell in love with someone that doesn't exist. And the truth, I mean, I hate to say, but yeah, they were performing for you to draw you in. They found out what you wanted and needed, and then performed that, and then you got hooked on that. And I've been there. And then sometimes to get you back, they'll do that whole performance again. So, but if you can keep reminding yourself that that person is not real, that is a made up performative story to pull it as a way to manipulate and control you. If you can understand that, then it can be very freeing. So yeah, there's that. And any other questions? Let's do, since it's nighttime for most of us, is it not nighttime for anyone? I don't know if everyone, anyway, but whether it's nighttime or if you're waking up soon, let's do a nervous system regulation thing. So when you go to bed tonight, I want you to breathe deeply. You could do box breathing because that really regulates the nervous system, which is at least 4 inhales in. You're going to hold for, a few seconds, and then you're going to exhale out. And as you're inhaling in, you're going to imagine a line going up, and then you're going to hold. And then as you exhale, you're going to imagine a line going across. And what you're doing is making a box, like in your mind. That's why it's called box breathing. And so you can do that for a couple rounds, so just to have your cortisol levels regulate. And then as you're falling asleep, and even if you don't fall asleep for a really long time, it doesn't matter. Like, I want you to lay in bed, and this is the theta state visualization that we're talking about, so it can sink into your subconscious mind. It bypasses all the logic stuff. Even if your brain's like, oh, no, you're going to exhale out any worries. You're going to exhale, and you're just going to think about whatever it is you want in life. Like, okay, my relationship is this way, my body is this way, it feels, and like all the good feelings that are associated with that. You're just creating new neural pathways because your subconscious mind only it's just like a little machine. It doesn't argue with only the logic part of your mind. It's like, no, that's not true. This is true. So we're going to bypass that. And we're just gonna be like, oh yes, I'm in this state now. I have this much in my bank account. I have this, whatever. I have this going on, whatever it is that you want. I want you to really let all of that marinate in your mind like nothing else exists except that, okay? That's how we're getting in that theta state, and we're having this stuff get recorded in the subconscious mind. We're just recording it. It's literally like your brain is a computer, so we're literally downloading that software. And if your logic mind tries to exhale it away, because you keep the cortisol level down. You keep your cortisol level down, and it will release that logic, that inner critic trying to take over. So I want you to do that, and then I want you to be like, "Oh, I'm so grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you." And then anytime the inner critic tries to come in and override, just say, "Thank you, thank you." So you're having the word "thank you" associated with whatever you're visualizing and feeling into, and then you're just gonna fall asleep doing that. And then when you wake up, and it might take a while to remember, but when you wake up, you might be thinking some other thoughts. Go back to that visualization, get the inner critic out, be like, "Get the fuck out of here," and then go back. Okay, thank you, thank you. Oh, it's so great that I'm waking up in whatever this state with this health and this wealth and this relationship, all the things, while your brain is still in that theta state or reprogramming. Okay? So that will be your assignment for this evening and when you wake up. I have so much respect for you. I just want to hear. Oh, sorry, I already read that one. But thank you again. I comment to make you angry. Um, well, you guys are welcome. It was nice hanging out with you. And I'm gonna run another. I'll start asking, and I'll ask in some of my posts. So for about a year, people have been asking, like, "Oh, do you want like what if I did a what's it called? Like a school community? SKOOL. In case you're so makes you laugh. Oh. Um, and so like it would be like this, but it would just like I would have chats with you guys 1 or 2 times a week, but, like, it would be a smaller community and, like, we'd probably be more interactive, like, I'd have a Zoom call set up or something for you guys, and then I could answer more of your stuff in depth and make content that's just, like, for members only. So people ask me about it, and I go back and forth on it, but let me know if you think it's a good idea. I will set it up if you guys, would be into it, and then, yeah, so anyway, I'm just thinking out loud, but if that's something like and I was thinking like I would do different categories like, "Hey, here's what to do at work, here's what to do in relationships," and then, we could just have different subjects. Um, so that's what's going on. I'm always trying to do new projects and things and make more content for you guys. So I might start a school community. I want it to be like, I don't know, a way to interact with you guys more, and I want it to be super helpful. And I want you to go into the community and be like, "Okay, this is enhancing my life." Like, "Okay, we're gonna go live and, like, have a Q&A session and talk to Lauren," or, like, you know what I mean? Like, I want it to be, like, super beneficial. And it would be like a school membership, you'd, like, pay a smaller fee, and then, you just get access every month. That's what school memberships do. So I'm thinking about it because I get a lot of questions about that. Yeah, holding space for the people here is very oh, yeah, you're welcome. Yes. And that is my job is to hold space. Even if you're just watching a video that is posted that is from, I don't know, a year ago, it's still me holding space for you. But yeah, it's nice to do it live and answer your questions. But yes, and if you're a coach or a therapist, know that that's your main job is to hold space for people. Because sometimes people don't get that. But you are so welcome. I love holding space for you guys. So until next time, again, DM me if you have specific questions or if anything comes up between now. I was thinking to go live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, or just anytime, that it comes up, but like getting a schedule going. So we'll see how that goes. But thank you all for being so amazing. It's great to see you guys here and answering your questions. Such good questions. Okay. So have fun working on that self concept shift around changing your core beliefs and then doing that theta brain exercise that I gave you. I want to hear how it goes. I want to hear it. Like, I want to hear about like how it goes because that's such a good way to reprogram your brain. I'm telling you, it's really cool if you do it around your health because you don't even have to do anything. Your like health will change. You're like, oh, I've done this with a lot of things in my life, so it's just awesome how it shows up. Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question on Messenger? What do you mean on Messenger? I'll be here, Miss Lauren. Nice. I comment to make you angry. Um, James, what do you mean on Messenger? Do you mean ask me a question here or on WhatsApp? Let's see. Monday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday could be awesome. Yeah. for Sunday scaries. I know I do some posts about Sunday scaries for people with narc bosses. I know, I know. I like Sundays. I like the idea of going because it's like the start of the week and like, um, you can pick my brain. Oh, on Facebook? Yeah, message me on yeah. I forget Facebook exists sometimes, but yes, I have Facebook. Um, it might be easier on Instagram, but it's yeah, I think it connects. Let me see. Yeah, my Facebook. I think my Facebook is Lauren Clayton though. It's just my name. Because my page on Facebook, I don't even think it's open. I just don't want you to message somewhere and I don't get it. So Instagram and TikTok for sure. But on Facebook, it'll just be I think it'll just be Lauren Clayton. Yeah, it's Lauren Clayton. And I'm like wearing like a red workout outfit, if that helps. All right. You could definitely message me there. Okay. I called the number on WhatsApp and left you. Oh, you did? I don't have IG. Okay. Let me check my messages. That's weird. I'll message you back after this, James. Did you leave a voicemail? Yes, on Monday. Okay. I'll look through. Sometimes I have to take responsibility. Like sometimes I will miss a voicemail. That's why I'm like text me on WhatsApp because I never miss those. So I'll look through it. It's probably yeah, I probably did forget. So I'm sorry. And I'm looking forward to connecting with you, James. You'd be the only person in America that I know of to receive this. It's right up your alley. Receive what? Yes, James, we will connect and I'm looking forward to it. I will check my voicemail more thoroughly. I'm so sorry about that. I do not like missing messages. That's why I'm always like, text me on WhatsApp. Do you have WhatsApp? I just want to make sure. I called the number on WhatsApp and left. Okay, so I guess you do have WhatsApp. We will figure it out, James. Okay. I'm looking forward to connecting with you. All right, guys. So fun talking to you and connecting. So okay. Then James, I'll just regular text you, okay? And we will connect. Literature about what? Remember we spoke about the different yes. I need to learn more about that. Yes. The different parts of the soul. I need to know like what literature exactly. Because I'm always reading stuff, so I need to look that up in my spare time. Thank you for reminding me I comment to make you angry. It's religious scripture. Oh, nice. That's interesting to me. Okay. I have to put that on my to-do list. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, thank you for telling me that. I comment to make you angry. I'll look into it more and then we could chat about it in the next live stream, amongst other things, and it will be interesting. All that stuff is like, I don't know, I feel like it's all connected. I feel like it's all ancient wisdoms. I think some of it gets misinterpreted, but I think ancient wisdom is all, it's in spiritual text, it's in science, it's in quantum physics. It's all kind of saying it's not, it's loosely saying the same. It's all getting us in the same direction. It's all the North Star is all pointing the same way. So I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for reminding me. All right, guys. I look forward to connecting with you guys again. I'm going to continue to be on here regularly. I do love the idea of Sundays and the Sunday scaries and just getting ready for the week. Um, and I want to get you all to a point where you don't have Sunday scaries anymore because I used to have them so bad. I used to have them so badly, and like I just don't want that for anyone. So we can work on how to get past them. All right. Okay, nice. I comment to make you angry. Okay, cool. I'm gonna look more into that. Okay, guys, I really love you guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for all of your amazing questions and comments. And I look forward to seeing you guys soon.